The NXL Major League Paintball Windy City Major was this weekend in Chicago, Illinois. Did you watch? Well, I'm about to give my recap of this week's events here on Old Guy Paintball. I am Craig and I am your host. Thank you for tuning in. Another really good event by the NXL Major League Paintball this weekend. The Chicago Major, Windy City Major as it was known, was a really good event. Congratulations to Tampa Bay Damage for coming through and winning over San Antonio X Factor 5-2 and being champions of this event. This stopped Russian Legion's two-game run, or two, so that now we have a new champion. So it was good to see a different team for once. So let's talk about it. First of all, when I first saw the layout, I thought, a double snake. They had a D-side snake, which was much shorter than the standard one, but it added a unique twist that I thought if you didn't have a strong snake player, or really two of them, you could be in trouble in this event. It didn't seem to kind of materialize. I think teams adapted quickly to it. The games are actually pretty darn competitive. There weren't a lot of mercy rules, but most of them were relatively tight. The games seemed to turn over at a fairly quick pace. And from what I thought and what I viewed, I thought it was pretty competitive. It was a really good event. I think a lot of teams went 1-3 or 2-2, and of course, you know, the ones that make the Sunday Club. What was nice about that was you saw two new teams, Paintball Fit and Seattle Uprising, both made the Sunday crew. And it was good because Paintball Fit took down Infamous and Seattle Uprising downed Ironman to advance to the quarterfinals. The intriguing part about that was Uprising took Tampa Bay Damage to overtime and lost, and was a really good showing by them, and Tampa Bay eventually went on and won the event. Also was unique to see San Antonio X Factor down Russian Legion and stop their run after two series wins. And so it gave us a chance to see two new teams in the finals and a new champion. So other than that, it was, I thought, a really good, well-run event. The weather looked fantastic, perfect for playing paintball. And other than, you know, there are obviously some mistakes with the refereeing, but I thought it was pretty good overall. It's a tough job, and not everything's going to work out perfectly for it, but I thought the refereeing was pretty decent, at least in the upper levels. One of the things to look at is this now sets up everything for going into World Cup in November. And the biggest thing in World Cup is going to be the standings. And right now I have the current standings, and the bottom two teams in the NXL right now are New York Extreme and Austin Notorious at 19 and 20, respectively. And right behind them at 17 is ML Kings and 18 is AC Diesel. Obviously that's big because those are the teams that are at the bottom four and are very likely could be pushed down in the, you know, the way the setup is, the bottom two fall out and the top, usually one or two from semi-pro move up, and they get relegated is one of the problems of being at the bottom. So they are in the chance of being relegated here after the next events if they do not have a really good outing. Now, some other teams could suddenly drop into there depending on how they would play, but that's going to be the biggest thing, is who faces relegation and who faces promotion. A quick overview here is in semi-pro. The top team is Leverage at 1, and the second team is Royal City Sea Dogs. And right behind them are New York Wrecking Crew and the team, the Newbies. They will, of course, be battling for the possibility of getting promoted to the pro division when it comes to World Cup. I actually like that format. It keeps it somewhat competitive. That, you know, hey, you know, you gotta perform to stay in the upper division, and it's a good shot. It's a good idea. So we will see what will happen here coming in November at World Cup and how a lot of this plays out. I think it's going to be a very good event. The biggest thing at that point will be the weather. I should be pretty decent for Florida, which is why they hold it there in November. But I think it shows there could be a lot of competition going. You know, you're fighting for survival in different divisions, and so it will be a very, very good event. And not only that, but they'll also probably have 4 teams coming from Europe, I believe, and that adds to the mix. And they have a slightly different setup for their playing. So I'll have probably a video on that coming up as we get closer, once they release the final teams that will be coming over, and as information comes out for it. But overall, I thought that this was a very good event. It was nice to see another team be at the top. Tampa Bay Damage is a veteran team. They've won before, but it was good to see Red Legion kind of get, knocked down. So it keeps it fresh, and people kind of, I think, like in many sports, yes, you have your teams that are faves, but people like to see a little difference every so often, and different teams coming up. And I thought the fact that it was a very competitive event for some of these teams that made it very interesting, for the fact that it'll be interesting to do rosters adjust. I mean, some teams did not have were not at full strength. I know Infamous had a couple people out, so they didn't have actually a full crew for this event. Other teams will probably start to adjust their rosters going into World Cup, maybe trying to make a pickup here or there to make themselves a little bit better, a little more competitive if they're facing, in the bottom tier regulation. But and then that'll start the, after that event starts the off-season big moves. But it'll be interesting to see how things play out in the next, 3-4 weeks of teams, and what do they do to adjust going forward. It was odd this time to see Dynasty. They seem to have some real struggles this past weekend. So the Dragon seems to be, they started out strong and they're kind of fading here a little bit. So I don't know if it had anything to do with the layout, or is it just kind of the fact that they have a much older veteran team and is the grind starting to catch up to them. But Dynasty did not have a good showing again. So it'll be interesting to see how do they rebound for World Cup when they're known to, show up big time at big time events, and will they make adjustments? But overall, I have to say it was a very solid, well done event by NXL and Major League Paintball. If anything was a downside, once again, I think the social media coverage was lacking. In that, I talk about, they have a Facebook page for NXL, and it was very slow to get reports on scores and general information. And I thought that, again, if you have a social media platform, they should be using that, because not everybody could either afford to pay for the live feed, or they have, personal things going on, they couldn't watch it, but you like to keep updated about what's going on. And sometimes it really seems like it falls or lags behind everything. And I think they need to do a little bit better job in trying to maybe keeping it up to date on their platform on Facebook. But from what I saw on the Go Sports side, I thought they did a much improved showing of how everything was. I liked how they had numbers where people were at. They had a much better overall view of the field, and they closed in on some good paintball battles. So once again, they're slowly getting much, much better as a broadcast network for this, and I believe they just recently changed from Go Sports to Major League Paintball. It sounds like there might be a more focused group there. But overall, very good job by Go Sports for how they presented this week's event. If anything, going forward, it would be really nice to see some outside sponsors come in, put up some decent money so that these could be free and improve the viewership. I think it was a biggest drawback of anything is, like anything else, it's a pay-per-view, but really Saturday and Sundays, they should find a way to get to play for free. And this way you can see all these really good events in the best showing, and people might be willing to pay for a finals or something like that. But overall, yes, it was. I hope you enjoyed the event. I did. I'm looking forward to World Cup coming up here in November, and we'll see how everything plays out over the next, couple months and through the end of the year with teams and who makes it, who doesn't, and who changes. But with that being said, congratulations again to Tampa Bay Damage on the Windy City Major victory. I hope everyone liked this video. Please hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more episodes coming up, and I'll see you on the paintball field soon.